Hey friends, it's Teresa and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be me discussing my current thoughts on Payback's a Witch by Lana Harper. This is one of my book of the week videos. I don't do these as often as I want to because by the time that sometimes I film, I have finished the book that I wanted for my said book of the week. So here we are. But if you guys like this content, hit like, subscribe, and comment. Let me know if you guys want me to do any reviews for a book that you have seen on my TBRs, or if you want me to do a book of the week or something. Typically, depending on the book, it will be either spoiler free or filled with spoilers. This one will kind of be in the middle. But yeah, let's just kind of get into it. Let's start off with the synopsis. First things first, this is an adult, I guess, fabulism novel set in the sleepy town of Thistle Grove, where the founding families are witches. Now, Emmeline, or Emmy Harlow, is a part of that founding family, but she is considered kind of like the lower tier out of that set of witches. Now, after a disastrous high school breakup, please note the word high school, with one of the founding family's sons, Gareth Blackmore, she escapes Thistle Grove, leaving her powers behind and starts off a new life. Now, I don't know exactly how often they have this competition, but this competition is held in their little town every year to dictate which founding family will kind of lead the town for the remainder of the year. While she is one of the founding families, she does not participate. She's actually an arbiter, which is just kind of like the big person just like watching over the games and making sure everything's kosher. She returns only to run into Talia Avramov, one of the founding families, and in the first night she finds out that Talia and then Lyndon, Emmy's best friend, were in a relationship with Gareth, unbeknownst to them, and then now their plan is to get revenge on Gareth for scorning all three of them. The question is whether or not Emmy wants to jump in. There are some content warnings for this book. There is sexual content, there is alcohol. They're all like about 10 years, so like 10 years from high school, so like 28, 29-ish. Around that age range, so they are allowed to drink legally. There is toxic relationships, there is cheating, so just keep that in mind when you pick up the book. Moving on to the things that I do like, and this is very few and very far and in between, if y'all can catch my drift. I kind of like the vibe of having a small town just kind of filled with magic. It gives me, for some reason, practical magic vibes, where the sisters are trying to constantly run away from their magic and their problems, only to really be brought back because something always seems to draw them back to that. That's about it. Moving on to the things I didn't like. One of the things I didn't like / don't really understand is why all of their powers are trapped in Thistle Grove, specifically and only Thistle Grove. Like, they won't have like little inklings of powers, or they get weaker when they leave town limits. They just lose their powers altogether. And the thing with this is that each of the founding families apparently is attached to some like big wig name in magical history. So like the Blackmores are related to like Morgan Le Fay, Merlin, and then the Avramovs are related to the Baba Yaga. So it doesn't make any sense why these founding families, who are so far apart from their country of origin, their powers, where their power should originate, and are now trapped in one little town for the rest of their lives, or else they lose their powers. It just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I feel like these big wig power names wouldn't be so controlled in such a small town. You know, it would make more sense if they were just like witches who like came from like England, or like ran there during the witch trials and then just, you know, limited their powers there so that way they'd be protected and they wouldn't have to worry about, you know, getting hunted down. But that's not the case. Another thing that I don't like so far, like I'm about 4 pages in, and the dialogue kills me. Like, I don't know, it's very obviously someone trying to sound younger than they actually are. Like, I can't remember the last time I heard someone say aggro to mean aggressive. Like, he just came at me like very aggro. Yeah, I don't know either. And then the term of like jag bag, which I guess is slang in Chicago, where Emmy eventually moves to just be a different term for douchebag, I think. Again, just the dialogue is super clunky, and it not only like it would make sense if, like, you know, they were still in this sleepy town that are like tucked away from like society or don't really interact with a lot of people, but they get tourists. They get tourists. They are allowed to leave. People do travel. So like, why? The math ain't mathin'. Why are they talking like they're in the 90s? The competition is also just a little spotty to me. I don't understand why they're competing as to who, like, I guess, rules over this town, because there are still humans in this town, so wouldn't they question the concept of, like, the mayoral election and debates, and like what does it actually entail for someone to be running the town? How long is this happening? Like, I just don't understand. I'm just very confused, and I need to know who came up with this concept in like when the founding families all came together. They're like, yeah, we can't have one family ruling all the time, so we're just gonna, you know, shuffle between them. Except for the fact that one family does get to rule all the time because they're the most powerful family out of everyone. The next thing I'm not a fan of is the reason for the competition, or like the alliance, I suppose, is this weird girl power situation to me. And in most cases I'd be like, yeah, get revenge. However, in Emmy's case, this was 10 years ago. And like, trust me girl, I understand the trauma behind a toxic relationship. I get it. I am no stranger to that trauma and the built up rage and anger. But it's very obvious that when Emmy left Thistle Grove to live in Chicago and like go to college there, she just stewed in all of that anger and all of that frustration and just never like worked through it or tried to, because now she's coming back 10 years later and is like, yeah, he's still a douchebag and blah 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 blah, and I'm still hurt and I want to get revenge on him. Like, it makes more sense from Talia and Lyndon's perspective, who were cheated on with each other. Like, that makes more sense to me than having Emmy pop in and be like, yeah, I want to partake because he has scorned me 10 years ago. And then to boot, I don't get why she wasn't angrier at Lyndon. Lyndon's supposed to be her childhood best friend. They like kept in touch but aren't as close, but Lyndon dates Gareth and doesn't like tell her what's going on. She finds out through someone else, or finds out in this big group context, and Lyndon's response as to why she did it was because it was so long ago. Like, I get it, people can change, but like, if you know that your best friend went through a toxic relationship to the point of her running away, why would you hop in bed with the guy 10 years later? And then not tell your best friend. Like, if you had to hide it, then clearly you thought it was going to be a big deal. Like, I am almost done with this book. I could finish this book tonight, and I will finish this book tonight, but heavy on the butt, the romance, the new one between Talia and Emmy, there's no chemistry. I don't sense the spark. There is no whoosh. There's no instance of me going, oh my god, I love it. Most of what Emmy's descriptions of Talia are is just how sexy and how attractive she is and how powerful she is. And we do get that little bit of like, oh yeah, she has like this, has this tough exterior, but she's really soft on the inside, which is like a lot of other tropes. And I love this trope. I love this trope. Do not get me wrong. But the trope was not done well. I don't know what'll happen in the next like 100 or so pages that'll maybe change my mind. But so far I'm not a fan, and like they keep having these steamy moments and I'm just here like unsteamed. I am still in need of steaming, you know? Like I said, I probably will finish this tonight, but so far it's not even the next 100 pages. Oh gosh. But so far, this is probably going to be a 2, maybe even a 1. I don't give many books 1 stars, so that'll be saying something. But that is it for this book of the week / currently reading / however I want to call it when I upload this video. If you guys want to see more of these things, to see like, you know, what I'm reading currently, or to see my thoughts of them as I'm currently reading, let me know in the comments. I don't really do monthly TBRs anymore because I always feel bad when I announce what I'm reading and then I don't read anything. But I have posted my like want to read lists a couple times on here, a couple predictions lists, and then I'll leave my Goodreads and my Storygraph below for y'all, so that way you guys can check out like my TBR to like owned or whatnot. So also follow me on Instagram because I do post some TBRs on there. But yeah, if you guys like this video, let me know in the comments, and then hopefully you guys are having a wonderful week, and if not, hopefully your week gets better for you. Bye!